Who's going to get their best foot forward as we hop into this one as far as the early game is concerned? Because early game is what League of Legends is about these days. And I'm hoping that it's not just going to be a snooze fest until 25 minutes. I do have a few things prepared that we can go towards if there are any of those lull states, so don't worry. We're going to try our very best to be okay as BDD's flashing early, so this is a good start. Command attack also landing there from Fly. Like it. Like it.
Yeah, there we go. Use that level. I don't even think I have a particularly amazing level. I haven't yet Trundle. Trundle's splendid, so it works well. Wonder whether we're actually going to see camp steals happen here, or they're just going to get some vision. Wow, that's very aggressive warding there. The ward between the two turrets is the more interesting one, obviously.
Very interesting.
Makes sense though if they want to go for a delayed invade as well. So this is the double up, right? Like you go for the invade and then you peace out. We'll get spotted here though.
Yeah.
And if Rascal and BDD can shove their lane early, then there should be the possibility for Clid to go and invade the top side. We might have some vertical jungling going on here.
Yeah, looks like it could certainly be a potential. I really like that BDD sort of snuck his head in just to make sure that they had confirmation. This does mean that Clid shouldn't lose out on too much, as Life is going to be pulling the wave here, just to make sure that they do get this one in exactly the right position. There are a couple of options that you have if you make it to lane first, and one is to camp brush, the other one is to pull the wave and get it shoving towards you as effectively as possible.
And in this case, shoving or getting the wave as close to your turret as possible is really important, because if things go as expected, we should see BDD and Rascal try to fight for lane dominance. Clid's not going to come anywhere near the bot side of the map, and if you know that Dread is there, just make sure that the lane pushes as close to your turret as possible so you don't get pillared. And neither of these two characters has any dashes, so that is just immediate flash forces. If that does happen, it's wow.
Yeah, Life's still on 100% win rate on this champion. Certainly, he's just a fabulous player, let's be honest.
He is.
And always chooses the correct skin. Look at the color coordination between himself and Ruler. That already basically says to me that they've won the lane.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
Very happy you pointed out.
It's very, very powerful, as Mundo has been losing a lot. Clid's going to come in and find Fly, though, as that's the flash forward. Fly's going to flash and does get towards Dread as well, who's in the right area, so he'll survive. But it does mean both mid laners now without flash.
And should see Clid go towards the jungle of Dread here. As Rascal not able to get a lot done on the top side, unfortunately. That is the power of the Renekton. So, I love this.
Are we doing it? We're returning. Trying to get on in there. Dissonance going to be enough, though, as Clid. He's pitching a tent here in the mid lane, and it doesn't look like he's leaving anytime soon. It looks like it will be just the bot side scuttle that he'll go for next, but this is kind of what happens when you lose your window to get into the enemy jungle.
So, a lot of things going on here. BDD normally would have gone for the flash there to secure the kill, but because of the level 1, he doesn't have the flash available. Secondly, I think that Clid reads there that with Keen having prio and a possible ward being there in the enemy jungle, he can't actually go for that topside invade, especially because, as we pointed out earlier, Trundle does actually have an incredibly strong 1v1, even into someone as powerful as Volibear. So instead, what he does is he tries to go for another gank. Sure, that doesn't work out, but gets the invade on the Raptors. We'll get the bot side scuttle, and we'll still be behind, unfortunately, but it's not as bad as it otherwise could have been. So it's a bit more low risk. You get a little bit less out of it, but maybe Fly moves up too far, you know? The gank does work out.
Yep.
And then you do definitely reap the rewards. Now Clid going to be a little bit sad there into a very happy troll.
Yeah, I do think that getting Fly's teleport early has been pretty valuable here, because BDD is, you know, every moment that he stays in the lane is value add, right? And he can use his health bar to clear out waves and things like that, and Dread is going to poke his head in, but you can see BDD playing very respectfully right now. So I don't mind it. The early action, not exactly getting all of the reward that you would want it to, but getting the flash and giving BDD that extra space has its own inherent value.
Another benefit of the control that was given over to Genji early is that Ruler has been alive and able to build up a nice CS lead, just a wave. But if you're up 1-2 waves as a Varus, you're going to be pretty happy. Kind of want to try and get that as much as you can into the Ezreal lanes, because obviously Ezreal going to scale really well. Varus will always be useful, but doesn't provide that raw carry power. Unless you get fed, in which case your arrows are not great to deal with on the opposing team.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game where a lot of the onus is going to be on BDD, much like it has been throughout the second round of this summer season, because there's not a whole lot of range on Afreeca's side. I feel like Rise will be able to do a fair bit of stuff, but Ruler, he's likely not going to be able to, as Life's trying to keep him alive, but it is just not going to happen. Life now going to get stunned up as Dread gets the chomp down, but that is first blood going over to Afreeca, and a great start for their bottom lane.
Really nicely done. Only downside is the kill goes to Lahens, but you'll take that any time. You'll be able to deny Ruler some CS. Also going to get this wave into the turret. We'll be able to pick up, I think, half of it, but some XP denied. Your disadvantage is gone. This is a bit greedy, though, and Clid is in the general vicinity. He needs to respect. Killer is there.
Yeah, Clid's just going to make his way out. Lahens takes a bit of a flame breath from good old Dragon down there, but he will be A-okay.
And nicely done. Clid just shows his face, draws a little bit of attention, and it's still early enough in the game that the Dragon damage is something that you really need to respect. Do see the result of that early action that was set up by Afreeca. Clid was still a level behind at that point, still is, as this is also on vision, you know. Dread, well, does get spotted there, but just really nicely done.
Yeah.
Great layering. Ruder's flash there. Very unfortunate with the pillar still up. There's no way that you're ever living there.
And Lahens' flash was very aggressive as well, making sure that he flashes in front to get out of the way of the Dazzle. I don't know whether his positioning there, I don't know whether he even landed much of an auto, but does manage to get first blood, so it must have done something.
It's about sending a message.
Well, the message is received.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he got the kill, which is what he wanted, presumably. Not what he should have wanted, but he did get it. Liking the early game aggression from Afreeca thus far. Only landed them one kill, but it has been successful as Fly.
Yeah, does have his flash back up again as he's going to flash over the Realm Warp, tries to get himself out of the way as Shockwave is going to pull them back. Dazzle barely misses, but now Clid is very angry and will be able to catch up to the Orianna, so he gets his revenge this time around.
Oh, I think they know about Dread.
Yeah, he does manage to get himself the red buff as he gets punted towards the Krug camp. Rascal's up here, but he's now dealing with underneath the turret, and Keen has been freed from the lane, so Dread will be absolutely fine.
I actually like that from Genji. Could go, and why are they not going to go for the Trundle? Clid, not level 6 yet. Rascal stuck underneath the turret, and Renekton and Trundle in a 2v2, 2v3 situation are terrifying when they both have their ultimates, so I see you, Genji. I respect that. Not taking any risks. However, giving over this Herald would be something that Genji generally has done a lot of, and they are currently looking to threaten towards that turret. But with Ruler on the Varus, I don't think that in terms of gold trades you're going to get something very valuable, so they are going to be taking an extended disadvantage here in terms of the gold that is going to come through, because they're clearly not contesting.
Yeah. Now Leo's going to come down and try and harass Life and Clid just a little bit here as the control ward is going to be cleared out, but the Drake is just going to be traded. Yeah. Of course, it's going to be all right. And Life moves back down here. You can see a lot of vision for Afreeca just to try and gather some safety, but Life is going to clear out that control ward. And Afreeca going to be in the dark just a little bit more as Clid walks over a ward. Oh, the Zenith Blade so extraordinarily close. Genji moving into the enemy jungle, and Dread's here. And Fly is going to be there to augment him as well. So Afreeca playing some decent defensive League of Legends after that Herald take.
Yeah, it's a good warning, because Clid there went, first he went up, trying to look for Fly, but Fly immediately backing off. Then he went towards the red buff, got countered by Leo and Lance, and then he went for the camp, and he didn't get any. Yeah. So, not working out greater, unfortunately, and I think once that second play fails, you're like, okay, they must have vision, they know I'm here. As you can flash, Fly, you can hit a nice ultimate, but 3 people plus an angry bear, not getting away from them.
No. That was everything invested into that one as well. A couple of control wards, the flash from B2D just to make sure that he got the kill. And that is going to net him a 20 CS advantage, as well as a bunch of extra gold. As you can see, close to 800 now is now Rascal. Not going to get stunned, of course, because he has that passive available, but still going to take a lot of damage. Has the ulti, though, so it looks like the Mundo is going to be absolutely fine. Chose the best skin as well, so that means that you do survive for a lot longer. Yeah.
Nothing but as a businessman.
Yeah.
Especially when it's Mundo, who's generally unfazed by anything that happens around him. And so far, I think pretty much what we expected. Gen.G not really contesting on the top side of the map, paying a lot of attention to the bot side, even with a nice gank from Afreeca. Ruler and Live still able to gain a sizable lead, and does look like the real action in this game is gonna kick off when we get into the 5v5 fights, which can go either way, honestly. We do have a lot of nice combos. You know, if Renekton gets into the backline and we get a ball delivery on the Leona, you can win fights very easily, but the same can be said if BDD or Ruler aren't reached, or Live gets a really nice ultimate off. Gen.G also has the possibility, and they can tank so much poke with Rascal, who will be going for Anathemas first here. With a Bramble Vest, you know, as a short little detour, but it's going to mean that he's going to feel a lot better in this 1v1 against Keen.
Not to mention the 2v2 as well, if Dread was going to gank before 6.
Yep.
So felt pretty good about that. Of course, Subjugate does a lot as far as mitigating a lot of the defensive statistics of your opposition, as Keen running pretty fast towards Clid, but the Bear's going to be able to escape the clutches of the Crocodile. And Keen's putting in a lot of work getting out of the lane as much as he possibly can. But you can see that Rascal's been pretty comfortable as far as shoving that wave back towards the Crocodile. So Keen not quite able to be freed up as much as I guess he would otherwise have wanted. Being able to swat away minions as well without killing them means that Mundo does have a fair bit more wave clear as well.
Oh, I really like the change they gave to his E. Because I thought E was always a cool ability where he's able to, you know, get an incredible amount of AD seemingly out of nowhere, but now it's also tied to your wave clear.
Yeah, it's cool.
Keen.
Yeah, Keen, I think, missed that cannon as well. Squid's going to make his way forward. Slice, Dice, has the flash, is going to use it immediately. Successful gank there from Clid and didn't have to invest anything to make that one happen.
Very nice. Means that in any subsequent fight, if you do get into a 5v5 situation and Keen makes his way towards the bot side, Ruler not going to have to be nearly as scared. A Renekton with Slice and Dice and Flash can cover a real big amount of distance. In this scenario, it shouldn't be the biggest issue, as this will be the plates that we talked about when this was picked up. I'm going to give a little bit more gold over as BDD.
Yeah, getting aggressive here onto Fly. He's running real fast. The Shockwave's going to try and pull him away, and good positioning there as Fly wants to get past the Rise. But he's pitched himself a bit of a tent here in this brush as Clid and Life moving their way up as Dread puts down the pillar, flashes forward, Zenith plays fantastic, and BDD is going to get shut down, and Clid and Life couldn't get there in time.
And just a bit of a disjointed play there from Gen.G. BDD, I think he had the right idea initially. Go for the chunk on Fly and then back off. Stay out of vision, wait for your team to actually catch up, because I think then you can win that. Like, there's no ultimate available if you just stay there. They know you're there as well, because they don't see you walk back into the lane, and then yeah, you know the moment you flash away from Dread, you get so much extra movement speed, Lance is just going to get on top of you and take you down immediately.
Yeah.
And that's a really big mistake, because that is a large amount of time. Now you need to invest the teleport. You might still be able to contest here, but looking a bit harder. The vision is still good though, and then with Ruler completing his back and presumably picking up his mythic. No, gonna go for the mana meter first. Interesting.
Yeah, wanting to stack that one up as quickly as possible. Very interesting. Anathemas also completed here by Rascal. There's a couple of 100 gold has now been bought back there by Fly, but it's still decent advantage for BDD. But this is actually really big. Being able to even out the Drakes and also get the Herald on Afreeca's side does mean that Gen.G won't be able to rely on that win condition, and that's why they're going to be fighting for it. As we can see here, Cosmic Radiance is available, and Ruler, they're just going to try and turn on him. Chains of Corruption not quite working out there as Ruler flashes away, but now the positioning around the Drake is not exactly the best, as the Piercing Arrow does do a fair bit of work there towards the top side members in Dread and Keen, but it still will be Gen.G grabbing some mid control and giving up this dragon.
And I don't mind that with how low Ruler was taken. A really nice collapse there again. Lance that sets that one up. And unfortunately, they don't actually have the damage available to go for a trade. If you get a first turbot here, I think you're feeling a lot happier as Gen.G, but instead, not really getting anything. You give the Drake, he might pick up second Herald here, but it's okay. But with the plates gone, it's not going to be amazing. You're not going to feel super happy about it. And thus far, liking the early game from Afreeca here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a consolation prize in this Herald, as True Shot Barrage is just going to snag Clid. Not going to get a steal or anything like that. Realm Warp does get the Rise and the Volley Bear out scot-free. And Gen.G are going to be okay. But still, about 800 gold the lead for Afreeca. And when you look at the scaling, it's like both teams are pretty happy getting towards the later stage of the game. The side of Gen G that I'm worried about is the fact that you're not going to have quite the consistent damage from a Varus in a team fight, right? You're going to be waiting on piercing arrows and things like that because of the lethality variant, whereas Ezreal is going to be able to just rocket around, stay pretty safe, and those Mystic shots are going to really, really hurt. Plus, the Trundle will mitigate the tankiness on Gen G's side, but they still do have a lot of wombo opportunity and a Rise that is going to hit like a truck.
And while the Orianna and the Ezreal are obviously going to be able to fight from range, I think Dread and Keen are still going to be looking to go in aggressively and play a little bit more forward. Same can be said for the Leona. And that means that as they do pick up the first Turbot here, so actually nice in the end, not the worst of trades, we'll get them back on even gold.
I like this investment as well, because in a turret's worth a little bit more. This will help put a little bit more gold into Gen G. Afreeca are going to be able to defend, so they're not going to be able to actually take this one down. However, Gen G have the man advantage moving into the jungle as Dread moves on in here. They're going to try and clear out some of the vision, but it looks like he's not going to be able to steal away his own red buff. That is going to be secured by Gen G. True Shot Barrage will get a whole host of value, although the Guardian certainly helped out.
Nice chunk. As, yep, Fly's just pushing, but Orianna, so not going to push a turret down quite that fast.
Nope.
And yeah, I think that just the threat of the lethality virus, in addition to the fact that Ruder is the sole AD source on his team. Yes, there is some damage from Klid, but as you already pointed out, a lot of that is magic damage. Obviously, Rise and Mundo, all magic. So itemizing armor is actually going to feel quite bad, meaning that the lethality virus, once he hits that 2-3 item power spike, you know, once he has his Mythic as well as a Cyril does, is really going to hurt. And I think that's going to be mean that it's going to be necessary for Afreeca to play more aggressive, either with Ezreal poke or just straight up going in with an Orianna combo, and that's when BDD and Life can single-handedly carry team fights. So there's a lot of execution, a lot of really interesting ways that both teams can play it, depending on, do we get a little bit more gold into Leo? Because then all of a sudden the Ezreal becomes a real threat, right? Like, does Ruda pick up a kill or two in a skirmish around the Drake? Oh, Mundo.
It's all right. He's going to have to leave that TPS report behind. Actually, no, it's a wad of cash now, isn't it? So the wad of cash, he has to leave that one behind, but it's going to be absolutely fine. As BDD up here towards the top side, looking to try and grab himself another turret. Ruler is just munching up as much of this farm as he can possibly find. Does have a decent CS advantage, as this time Rascal's going to have to skirt around the Pillar of Filth, as it were, with the traditional Trundle skin. True Shot Barrage not going to be able to save this turret by the looks of things. And Gen G are going to mow down yet another one. Afreeca going to do the same thing, though, as Fly grabs one on the bottom side of the map. And now, inside track here on the mid lane outer turret, so not exactly worth, as they're trying to inject gold into BDD, who doesn't quite have his teleport back available. Thankfully, the wave clears okay, so they don't lose the bottom outer turret.
That's another benefit of this Gen G comp. Waves mean nothing to you, as Biggie found by Keen.
He does. Slice and the dice now invested as BDD creates the distance he's looking for. And we've seen Renekton's versus Rise, and oftentimes I put my money on the Rise, to be perfectly honest. So we'll see whether Keen's going to be okay. If you get the jump on him, of course, you're able to get a fair bit of work done, but the Everfrost, very valuable.
I think in a couple of levels, maybe another item, BDD wins that 100%. Right now, I think his call to use his Phase Rush and his Everfrost to get the hell out of there.
Yep.
Definitely the right one. But as you point out, like later on, that does not become manageable for the Renekton at all, especially with the itemization that he's going for here. Very clearly looking to mitigate the healing power that is provided by Taric, as well as the Volibear and the Mundo. As
First Ocean Drake now available.
I haven't even talked about it yet, but imagine Mundo and
Mundo Taric.
Yeah.
Taric with Ocean Soul sounds
How does that sound?
revolting.
Yeah.
You know, same as, you know, King's Tribute from the Trundle.
And Renekton.
Yeah, and Renekton. There's going to be a heck of a lot of healing, so neither of these teams going to feel very good about giving this one up. As, okay, we're going to throw out the Chains of Corruption. Dazzle doesn't find too much as Keen has to slice his way out. Health lead for Gen G. As Life, he's happy to give away a bit of his health bar, as it looks like Afreeca not willing to give this one up, as that's a double kill instantly from Fly. Finds the Shockwave, and now Lehens is looking to follow up Rascal. It's going to take a bit of killing to get him down, as Subjugate is now ticking. Keen looking for the back line. Wants to find the slice angle, but doesn't quite get in there. But Clit's still taking way too much damage. And Afreeca will be able to get this outer turret and the dragon. Fly making the plays.
It came out of nowhere. They both have all their summoners available. And you have a turret ultimate. It doesn't matter if you get 100 to 0'd in a matter of seconds. Beautifully played by Afreeca there, and they're basically gonna get given this Drake for free. And you already said earlier tonight, Atlas, yeah, Fly, he's comfortable on the Orianna. Well, here we see why he wasn't allowed to play it for a large part of the split.
And this is why Afreeca looked good in their first few matches, of course, because they were able to just default back to giving Fly one of these comfort picks. He now has his Seraphs completed, and this Orianna is only going to get worse as the game goes on. And do you know what the worst part about it is? If you're a Gen G fan, it's that having a fed Orianna makes the Renekton better. And Renekton's being piloted by Keen. Oh man, it's all gone downhill here for Gen G, but that was just a fantastic play from Afreeca. Let's have a look at it again.
I think it was also, yeah, they don't see it.
Didn't respect the orb.
You got to flash that. Ruru doesn't have flash on this UI, but he did have flash on the early one. So that was like, I was like, why didn't he flash that? Because for life it makes sense. Wow, yeah. It's very unfortunate because if you flash that, you're fine.
Well, yeah, of course. That's why flash is so valuable.
Yeah, now I'm not sure. Because I'm pretty sure that he did have flash on this. Okay, doesn't really matter. He died, right? Like, but it's the reason why it's so relevant is because is it them seeing the ball and then not respecting the damage, thinking they're not gonna get 100 to 0'd, or is it a case of them not seeing the ball, which is worse because there was a ward in that brush?
I believe there was, yes.
Yeah, no, there was. It was a pain.
Right. Yeah. Well, Ruler's gonna get slowed down. Chains of Corruption will somehow find the Ezreal, as Leo just going to barely get snagged by that one. True Shot Barrage is going to return the favor there onto Ruler. And we've hit our first couple of items on the Ezreal as well. Leo's feeling very happy with how the game is at the moment. You know, he's down about 15 CS, but I don't think you care. You're Ezreal. You're very happy with how this game is positioned at the moment.
Don't have to do that much either. You have a fat Orianna, so
is this the 5-kid treatment? You know, you just like just chill out.
I don't want to disrespect Leo like that. I think that 5-kid had one of the funniest debuts we've ever seen. In case you missed it,
he debuted in a backpack.
Yes,
that's what happened.
He came in for KT, and then his top side was like, I think got like 15 kills.
Yeah.
And then he was just there. And he did, was it 4K damage in Kai'Sa?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second game,
do we really see Kai'Sa do that much damage all
generally
that often here in the LCK? The answer is kind of no. The LCK player this year that is doing a lot of work on Kai'Sa is Viper, and he's not here. He's in the LPL.
You have to go there?
I did have to go there. Sometimes there are realities, and they're not exactly the ones you want to face. But if we face them together, maybe we'll be better for it, you know? What do you think?
Well, I don't.
Did it sound too much like a fortune cookie?
No, and you know me. I'm not one to shun nice catchphrases. I do like
fortune cookie wisdom.
Yeah. But imagine an LCK where we still had Viper, and Nuggery for that matter. Not the case though. What we do have is a Gen G that seems to be floundering, and it's not the end of the world, but the real problem now for Gen G is that something we haven't really talked about yet is that yes, they are very good when Afreeca runs into them. However, with this fat Orianna the way that it is, Afreeca probably not really gonna have to run into them. And even that earlier, like around the dragon, you saw Gen G was winning. Like they had way more damage on the enemy carries. Like their poke was very substantial. But man, now with
Anathemas on Trundle as well.
That's disgusting.
Oh, that just sounds like so much synergy. Oh, he pops Subjugate and he's impossible to kill. Oh, Lord. And this game is going to be BDD, right?
Yeah.
You put your Anathemas on BDD towards the later stage, and Dread's just going to be the happiest Trundle in the universe.
Yeah, because lethality Varus not killing Tron. That's not happening at all.
Plus, if Dread just decides to build some armor and then Anathema's onto Rise. Who kills it?
No one.
Exactly. True Shot Barrage does a lot of work there as Clid's in a bit of trouble. Solar Flare is going to connect. Lehens decides to actually hold back because the Shockwave is all they need to murder the bear. And Afreeca, the setup for this Drake is just beautiful. 25 seconds and they'll have that one. They might even be able to get some work done onto this turret, but that's not what they care about. What they care about is creating space. You kill the jungler, you guarantee soul point.
Second time! You see the orb! It's there!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I am happy about that response because I'm a bit flabbergasted. Obviously, like, they're playing it really well. Like, I'm really happy with the map movement of Afreeca. But there's a reason why Orianna was not that popular for the longest time is because there is actually considerable counterplay to her. Not just in lane, but like Shockwave is very telegraphed. Should be able to get away from that. Not the case here. But that's the second time in a row. And now we have a soul point for Afreeca, which means that Gen G needs to win basically every team fight. And it's not the end of the world. If you look at items, if you look at the overall power that the Afreeca comp or Gen G comp rather will have, but
I think it's the end of the world based on the play, right? I think that like Afreeca are just playing out this game like they have a plan and they're following it and Gen G doesn't, right? I've been very impressed by how Afreeca have navigated this mid-game especially, and they've set themselves up for a great position because we mentioned already just how repugnant an Ocean Soul is for both of these teams. It's going to be a triple stacked Ocean Soul for a team with Trundle, who's going to be impossible to kill. Renekton, who's going to be impossible to kill. The healing from these two champions is ludicrous. And it will allow the Ezreal to just skip around, be as comfy as possible. Like, everything about it just screams phenomenal for both of these teams, but only one of them can get it.
And they have an Orianna to even augment it further, you know, to give the speed ups, to give the shields, and it's a bad Orianna, which makes it even more scary. So while the gold is relatively close, the turrets are even, and the item discrepancy I don't think is the worst. It's more about also what we've seen thus far. Clearly, Gen G don't seem to know how to deal with this Orianna. You can poke, but that does require you to be in a decent position. And every single time the same thing has happened. Someone gets hit by a pillar or just walks too close to an Orianna orb, and then just promptly gets demolished. So hopefully Gen G learned from this, set up shop in the river, actually use the poke that they have with the Varus, and use the ultimate from the Taric, because we've literally not seen this.
Yeah, we haven't seen one. Yeah. Remember, this is Live's 100% win rate Taric as well, who's now just completed his Mythic, does have that Shirelia's online. And look, Gen G, they still have a scaling composition in theory, but it's not the classic Gen G scaling, right? It's not the Gen G scaling that has DPS from Ruler. This is the Varus variety, and it doesn't instill quite as much faith as a late game Gen G that doesn't have the lethality Varus.
I have the idea.
What's that?
You stall till 50 minutes, and then you sell all your items, and you go attack speed Varus. You have Halo Blades?
Ooh, okay. I can see it.
It's a foolproof plan.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how to get to the 50-minute mark, because that shouldn't happen.
You don't need to sell all your items either. You can just, you know, sell your Mythic, get rid of that. You keep Lord Dominic's, which he looks to be building next. You're going to be happy about that one too.
I mean, it's going to be Cyrilda's, right? And Cyrilda's kind
of... Oh, right,
awkward.
yeah, that's true.
That would be
cool. So you'd have to sell that too.
Just keep it at this. Don't build Cyrilda's, just keep the last one. Yeah. We won't tell. I promise, Robert. No, I honestly, I feel like what Gen G should do on their next engage is just stand together as 5, use Life's ultimate, and then either Realm Warp in or like have Clid and Rascal just dive in and then try to kill them within that. Because otherwise, I don't see how you're winning this. Clearly, Afreeca are not going to let you poke. They're continuously going to move in on you while you try to set it up.
But I mean, oh man, the items are just ludicrous. I mean, Fly's probably sitting on a fair bit of money as well. He's been just chilling in a side lane for a very long time. Shirelda's is going to be completed here for Ruler, so he at least has item parity with the Ezreal. But the Ezreal's making so much more use of his items right now, you know? And next item will likely be that Frozen Heart, and then, I mean, what do you do as a Lethality Varus?
Well, he won't do a lot. Not as much. Fortunately, I think that the Leo problem can definitely be solved by BDD.
True.
But the real issue is that I don't think you can leave either Fly or Leo alive, because both of them will just hard carry team fights.
And then there's Keen as well, who's, you know, we don't talk about Renekton scaling, but he's got Gordrink Hysterics. That turns a lot of these bruisers into dominant late game carries.
And he might have an Ocean Soul in 50 seconds, so... And we've seen this setup happen a couple of times already.
I mean, for Gen G, this is the team fight that you have to win. True Shot Barrage going to come through. The flash comes out from Life to avoid the Solar Flare. So no Flash Dazzles to come through here from him is okay. There's the ulti. They get the Cosmic Radiance. That's the first we've seen. It looks great. Does nothing. Gen G are continuing to try and kite back. But Afreeca don't care.
I think it was cancelled with the pillar.
Oh, God.
That's insane. They tried to go in. I was saying it jokingly. They tried to go in for the big play, and it didn't work. The pillar cancelled it.
Because BDD tried to Realm Warp.
Yes.
And I missed it. I'm a bit of a numpty. Thankfully, we have Chronicle here to save me.
It would have worked.
No. And now Rascal, he's getting chunked out. It's going to be hard for him to stick around as Keen is just clearing out vision. Yeah, that was their plan. That was their plan. And it didn't work. Now the Ocean Soul is going to go over to Afreeca and Gen G. Looks like they have no response. They were trying to go towards this Baron, but Keen, he spots it. He knows exactly what's going on.
50-50, baby.
Yep. And that is going to be the Ocean Soul now completed. This is the Hail Mary from Gen G. They want to be able to get at least this Baron as a trade. Clid's down extraordinarily low, though. And it looks like they are looking for a turn, but this is Ocean Soul. Look at Keen. He's in half health now. Let's just take stock of where his health bar is going to be in a couple of seconds' time. Spoiler, it's going to be full.
Oh my God, I can't believe it didn't work. It was like a plan of mad genius.
Yeah. It would have worked. Could have worked, I guess. I guess we have to say could have, because Shockwave works pretty well when everyone just Realm Warps on top of you. That might have bought them time so that the Cosmic Radiance didn't do enough.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess.
I think the lack of damage and the fact that you need to hold it and there's a set period, like it's obviously it's very high risk, high reward, but it could have worked. However, with the Realm Warp interrupted, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And now you get Ocean Soul. Baron's looking good as well, and Afreeca are just in prime position this game, and I'm just very pleasantly surprised by how well Afreeca has navigated these comps, and I do think it goes back to that Orianna on fly, because Afreeca just move so differently when you notice this confidence that they have, right? When they know that they can just set up these plays, and it's been two of his ultis that basically have put them in this position.
This time, the Shockwave will be flashed.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
See, so there we go. We're going to actually respect it, thankfully, after 30 minutes. That is going to be enough time. So Rascal does get himself out of the way. He's got a Thornmail as well as his Anathemas. There's Fly moving towards this top lane. In the turret, he should be able to grab this one as Gen G looking for some vision towards this Baron, but you can see there's not very much. The inner turret's just going to be taken. Not a whole lot that they can do about it. BDD has secured the inner on the bottom side, so at least they're getting a bit of gold there, but Afreeca still have their outer turret in mid lane. That's how much control they've had.
As Afreeca, you know, there's only one plan that Gen G has to win, and it's flip it at Elder with exactly the same strategy that you saw earlier. That's the plan, which I don't know if we'll get to, because they might just pick up the Baron. Do still need to respect. There is still a considerable amount of damage, and while we've been joking, and yes, the soul is really big, Gen G in terms of items is not that far behind, right? So like a really big ultimate coming through, a couple of bounces from BDD or a great Cosmic Radiance can still threaten them. So I do want to see Afreeca stay vigilant, but if not, if they just play it slow, they should be in prime position to take this game without too much difficulty.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Ruler's trying to poke, but the Ocean Soul just ruins it so effectively. Oh no, like look, Leo's already getting so much of his health back. BDD off to the side, trying to get some poke in there as Dread. King's Tribute plus Ocean Soul means that this is just... The poke is mitigated just so much. Pillar plus Shockwave does need to be respected as well, as Fly does have that one available. And it looks like Gen G playing towards the bottom side of the map, but there's nothing really to play for down there, as Afreeca have inside track towards the Baron Pit if they'd like to get there. Okay, Solar Flare going to connect onto Ruler. He cleanses immediately, as he needs to. Chains of Corruption now on cooldown. But the big buttons are still up here for Gen G. Afreeca have, they're on the correct side of this particular situation. This is getting a little bit awkward as this face-off, this K-Ram that we have in the mid lane, is very strange. Here it is. We're going to try it one more time. In they go. Cosmic Radiance. Rascal was outside of it, though, and he's just going to get chunked immediately. Ruler's in trouble. Keen goes down to his GA, and that is going to be Ruler already dead. BDD's gone as well. There is no damage remaining on Gen G, and I have a feeling they are no longer welcome in this game. This will be the turret taken down. This will most likely be the ace unless Clid is just going to stick on his fountain the entire time, and Afreeca have done it. They have the Ocean Soul, they have a dream, and they will most likely have a slaughtered Nexus here in the Gen G base.
Textbook game from Afreeca. They read Gen G like a book, and I don't think we're gonna see Fly play Orianna again, because while